Hey friends, have you noticed something? Have you noticed that during family gatherings or when you get teenagers together, even adults, that we've lost the ability to be able to connect with one another because of our phones? Have you noticed that? And so as we come into the holiday season, especially Thanksgiving, I want to alert you to something because I want to give you an opportunity to be able to fix a very big problem that we're seeing as psychologists. And what we're seeing is that loneliness is at an all-time high. Here's the kicker: even when around people. There are people that feel like they're not connected to their spouse. They feel like they're not connected to their family. Especially middle school, high schools, and college students are reporting that they can be in a group or they can have thousands and thousands of friends on TikTok, on Instagram, on Discord, whatever they're using, right? They can have all these friends, but not have three people who they actually hang out with, that they confide in, that they actually do life with, who they feel they can trust. Isn't that crazy? And then as adults, guess what we're doing? We're actually going on social media and we're coming off of social media feeling less well, meaning we're losing mental health after getting on social media. Now, you might ask yourself, well, how is that possible? All right, because we spend so much time on social media, but when you query the average person, they'll say, I was on social media for 2 hours, but I'm no happier. I was somewhat entertained. I found myself binge watching TikTok videos or Instagram videos or YouTube, but I'm no happier after watching it. And here's why. Especially when we start looking at Instagram, Facebook, and even TikTok, people are comparing themselves to one another. So social comparison is taking over. What does that mean? That means that we're looking at our lives and we're scrolling and we're feeling good about ourselves, and then we see someone else doing better than what we're doing. And we see someone else on a date and we're not on a date. And we see someone who has a house and they have some things in the house that we want. And you see someone get a new car, and then we look at our old car. And what we're finding is that the more time we're spending on social media, because social media sends you the videos that you want to watch, the more people, and we follow people who are usually doing better than us. Like I follow Will Smith, so I'm watching with Will Smith, and I might be following Barack Obama, and I'm following Bishop Bronner, and I'm following Mike Todd, and I'm following, Dr. Henry Cloud, one of my favorite psychologists. And when I'm looking, guess what I'm doing? I don't know it, but I'm actually comparing myself to those 4 or 5 people when I shouldn't. I should be comparing myself to me. And so what's happening is we get off of social media wondering, what am I really doing? And so what we're finding is that the average person is coming off, and there are many times where we make negative comparisons to other people. And we all know in social media, we post our best life, not our real life and not our worst life. So just make sure that we're aware of that. And so what's happening is that adults are losing self-esteem. Kids are losing self-esteem because they're not getting the likes or the views, or they find themselves having to look at the social media for validation since they don't have friends. And we're all addicted to our phones, sitting around Thanksgiving dinner, and we're not connecting. We're just using the phone, which was designed for us to stay connected when we don't see each other, and now we're using it to literally ignore one another face to face. Isn't that crazy? So here's what I want you to do about it. 3 things I want you to do. Number 1, I want you to institute a culture, especially during Thanksgiving, Christmas, the holidays, of docking all cell phones. I want you to get a basket, a bucket, whatever it is, and say all cell phones are docked during dinner, during family time. Let's go back to old school where we got together at Thanksgiving and Christmas to actually talk, to connect with family members you haven't seen. And many of us have not seen extended family since the beginning of the pandemic. Your mother and your father, they need to hear from you. They want to connect with you. They don't want you on a cell phone. We don't want them on a cell phone because even grandma and grandpas are addicted to cell phones these days, especially the kids. We want them to be able to interact with their grandparents, actually interact with their parents and their siblings. We spend so much time at work and school and sports. Dock all those cell phones. Dock them, all right, and put them away for as long as possible, and then make that part of your culture for meals going forward, for Bible studies going forward, or just family time where we're just going to sit by and we're going to talk and we're going to connect and we're going to get into each other's world. All right, number 2, I want you to seek connection versus comparison. If you're going to use social media, don't just use social media to be a lurker. Don't be a lurker and just a scroller. All right. Don't just look at. You're going to actually make your either you're going to find yourself doing it for 2 hours but get no value out of it, or what you're going to do is you're going to have a negative comparison because you're going to see what other people are doing that you're not doing. Like kids are seeing, friends out and they say, best friends forever, but you're not in the picture. You're not where they are. So how can it be best friends if you're part of the group? It makes you feel excluded. You got on social media, cool, right? And then you look at all your friends hanging out who didn't call you. Now, if you never knew that, you'd be okay because it happens all the time, right? Sometimes it's just not your rotation. Parents say you can only have, 3 friends come and you just happen to be, the fourth friend, or they hung with you last time and they're trying to mix it up. So we have to make sure that we are connected. So DM people, send them a private message, comment on their post, call them. A lot of the apps you can actually call. Do that with a friend. I'm not saying a stranger. That's very, very inappropriate, right? That's stalkerish to just pick up the phone and try to call someone on FaceTime, on Instagram, or Facebook, if you don't know them, or WhatsApp. So make sure you're using social media to be able to connect with people. Remember how we got on there and it shows you all the people you know, and Facebook from, from high school and college and organization, and it groups you together. But now what's happened is that we don't call those people anymore. All right, we use social media to watch what they're doing, but we don't talk and connect with them. And it's hurting us all from a connection standpoint, which is why loneliness is going up. And then if you're going to compare yourself, if you're going to do it and you want to do it the right way, that's actually going to motivate versus depress you, compare yourself 1 or 2 rungs up, all right? So 1 or 2 steps up is where you should compare yourself, right? So I shouldn't compare myself to Will Smith. I should compare myself to Dr. Henry Cloud when he was my age, right? Or I should compare myself to someone who's 1 or 2 steps ahead of me, so I can feel like it's attainable. If I keep going, I can do this. If I keep going, I can do this. If I keep going, I can be where Dr. Phil or Dr. Drew or Dr. Laura were when they were in their 3rd year of doing media seriously. Does that make sense? Otherwise, if you're trying to compare yourself to Elon Musk, you're going to always feel broke. If you're trying to compare yourself to Will Smith, you always going to feel broke. You always going to feel like you don't have enough charisma. If you're trying to compare how funny you are to Kevin Hart as a first-time comedian, you're always going to feel like you don't measure up because he has years in the game and perfecting his craft. So you can see how this is hurting us. So only compare 1 or 2 rungs up. And then number 3, I want you to show Thanksgiving. Show Thanksgiving. I want you to actually take a moment and be grateful for the things that you have accomplished. So compare the you right now to the you 2 years ago. Compare the you right now to what our ancestors had to go through. Look at where we are as far as finances and wealth and health, and where we are business-wise, and where we are keeping our families together, and how much we've learned about how to make relationships work, and self-development, and being homeowners and real estate investors and developers, and making wealth when it comes to cryptocurrency and stocks, and all the things that we've learned. Compare what we have access to right now to our ancestors, our mother and fathers, our grandparents, and then we're going to feel better about ourselves. It says in the Word, it says Psalm 100, verse 4, enter into the gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Thanks to him. Give thanks to him and praise his name. So if you focus on the good things in your life, you're less likely to focus on the things that you lack. When we operate from a lack mentality, we feel depressed because we think about what we lack. All right. We woke up feeling happy that we have health. We woke up feeling happy that we have a roof over our head. We woke up happy that we're still here after so many of our friends and family, had either near death or passed away, during COVID. We wake up feeling generous, and then we get on social media and we think about lacking a relationship. We think lacking being able to have another child. We think about lacking having a dream car, a dream house, long hair, nice suits, whatever it is, all friends to hang with on a regular basis, a roommate, whatever it is. We come from a spirit of lack. So make sure that we wake up with Thanksgiving, in our hearts, and that we're actually able to celebrate the Thanksgiving season with a spirit of thanksgiving. Matter of fact, I want to give you an exercise. For everyone who's in a relationship, I want you to share what you're thankful for, meaning like something your partner did that you're thankful for, and then tell them the story. I'm really thankful that time when, say you're in a blended family, when my son called and I couldn't pick him up and his father couldn't go, and you went and you didn't complain and you picked him up. And when the school asked, are you the father? You said, no, I'm just stepping in on behalf of his father. That made my son feel safe. And it actually made the dad trust you because the school was able to relay that message to dad so there was no territory. And I appreciate you understanding what's going on. Right? So if you're in a family, I want you to share what you're thankful for each family member. Allow this to be able to go around the table and say, I'm thankful for you doing this, or I'm thankful for the time you did that, so that we can actually warm to one another again. We can go from disconnection to warmth. It's like stoking a fire. We're going to stoke that fire with the spirit of Thanksgiving for all of our families, y'all. So I love you. I care for you. I want us to be able to reconnect. I want us to be able to pull away from the metaverse, pull away from social media. I'm not saying it's bad, all right? It definitely has its uses. It's how you're probably watching this right now. But let's pull away from it, and then let's talk to the people who are in our lives who can really make us feel connected. I love you guys. Take care and God bless.